are so excited tonight. After a couple of false starts, we're so excited to have Mary Louise Garcia here tonight. She is a lifelong Fort Worth resident. I didn't know that. And she's always been active in civic organizations, volunteer groups, schools, and church. And she's our newly elected, it was January 1st, 2011, county clerk of the Tarrant County courthouse. So she has some great facts, statistics, and some knowledge about the old and the new. And we're so excited to have her tonight. She comes from the west side of town. She's one of my neighbors, so I'm so excited to have her tonight. She's married to Chris Garcia, an independent businessman, and they're both volunteers at Holy Family Catholic Church. They have two daughters, Juliana and Gabriella, and we're so excited to have her. Won't you welcome Mary Louise Garcia?
Thank you. Can everybody hear me okay? Is this working? Is that it? Okay. Thank you so much, Debbie, for inviting me here tonight in this wonderful organization. I got on your website, 56 years y'all have been in part of this community, and as a native Fort Worthian, thank you for the work that you do. As you probably know, Tarrant County Clerk is the keeper of the records, so I think it's fitting I come here tonight and talk to y'all a little bit about what we do and what we have. But before I really go into depth about my office, I want to give you some facts about Tarrant County maybe you're aware of or not. We have 1.8 million citizens in Tarrant County. We serve 41 cities in our government, in the county government. I think we're the only county in Texas that has that many cities we're responsible for that we do business with. And I'm proud to say we are currently one of the only governments in the state of Texas, or really across the nation, that's been able to handle our budgets and be good stewards of your money where we're not in the red and we didn't have furloughs. So my hat's off to our commissioners and all my colleagues that are elected, that we manage your money well as taxpayers and that we take care of that in a great way. So we can always do better in government, but I want you to know at Tarrant County we really try our best, and I commend our Commissioners Court and my colleagues for managing our budgets the way we do. Now let's go on to the clerk office. Really few of you are going to go through life without calling on my office for birth certificates, marriage licenses, death certificates, deeds to home, property, oil and gas with the shale boom, power of attorneys, and a multitude of other personal and business documents are housed in our office. So we have different departments, and I kind of want to go through each department and kind of give you a snapshot of what we do. You know, the first department I'm going to talk about is our accounting department. I have a CPA there, and we have about 4 team members with her. Overall, in Tarrant County, the county clerk office is the second largest generator of collecting fees and doing business with taxpayers. We have about $25 million that comes through our office annually. We administer about 1,000 trust accounts, invested and uninvested, at the direction of the courts that we support in the county clerk's office. Another division that we have that's under my purview is the Office of Land Recording. Real property transactions in those 41 cities come through our office. There's plats, there's liens, there's deeds that we do business with. Annually, in Tarrant County, your land record department, we process about 360,000 documents a year. That's about 1,000 documents a day down at the old courthouse that people come in and do business with us. And interesting enough, talking about the past and the future, we have electronic filing that we adopted that my predecessor, Suzanne Henderson, put in place. And we actually process about 68% of those documents in the land record electronically. So we do business with different companies, and they come in electronically. But those 8 people that still are at the counter waiting for you to come in and do business, they still vet those documents. They still look at them. So it's about 1,000 documents a day that our team works on. We implemented something new when I got in the clerk's office, in that recording office. With technology, we're able to have people that come down and actually do business with us. They used to hand us those documents, and we would take them, and we would process them. 3 days later, we'd put a stamp on it with your taxpayer money and ship it back out. Well, you know, technology's caught up, so now when you come in the county clerk's office in the old courthouse, you're going to hand us your documents, your business documents, your property documents. We're going to scan them, and we're going to simply hand them right back. We've saved thousands of your money annually since we've implemented that at least 2 years ago. Another departments that we support are the courts. We have lots of courts in Tarrant County. And in my area of purview with the county clerk's office, we support the criminal courts, the probate courts, and your county courts at law. We have 10 criminal courts in Tarrant County over there at the Tim Curry Courts building, and this is where we support Class A and Class B misdemeanors. We are the clerks that support the judges there. We annually collect, after a judge does an assessment on somebody with A and B misdemeanors, about $10 million a year in fines that have been assessed on citizens that have, for whatever reason, they have their A or B misdemeanor. And when I got in office, I asked him, how well do we collect those fees and fines? Because it's a process that we go through, and you're assessed a fine when you have these court cases completed. And really, we did an internal in-depth and an audit, and we collected about a 96% rate. So, my hat's off to our team for having a judicial compliance office that the state of Texas mandated that we did because of the size of our population. But the fact that we have team members and managers in that division that are able to collect at such a high rate to work with people and get them on payment plans to help do what they need to do to pay up those fines. Other courts that we are supportive of are your probate courts. We have 2 probate courts in Tarrant County, Judge Furchill and Judge King. And they're going to be responsible for processing probated estates, incapacitated persons, guardianship, mentally ill. They process wills. We keep wills for safekeeping in our office. We are custodians, and we hold funds on behalf of minors that go through those probate courts. In those 2 courts, we process about 4,000 documents a year. We scan probably individually about 375,000 documents, just to let you know in 2 courts the type of business that we run through at with your taxpayer dollar. And within those probate courts, we have mental hearing courts and cases that we handle. There's about 3,000 of those in addition to the other ones that your 2 judges, your probate judges and your associate judges handle. And to be quite honest with you, since 2005, those hearings have gone up quite a bit. So it's something we're going to look at internally as far as adding more support and staff for that. Another area of law we support as clerks, where we take records, is your county courts at law. In Tarrant County, we have 3 county courts at law that handle disputes under $250,000. And those courts are going to be in our old courthouse. You have Judge Reimel, Judge Rabel, and Judge Pearson are the 3 courts that we go up with staff and support them. They annually process about 10,000 cases a year of civil filings. And in those, I think we audited and we found about 440,000 documents that come through our county clerk office that we're responsible for, putting them in the right place and moving them along for people that are trying to get through the system. One of the other departments I'm responsible for is your commissioner's court. We handle all the minutes, we handle all the contracts, we handle all the records for the Commissioner Court. And that's where you're going to see business every Tuesday. And I encourage you, if you've never seen Tarrant County business conducted, it's Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock at our Tarrant County Administration, but you certainly can watch it online. I commend the Commissioner's Court for putting their business online so you can watch in video stream live our Commissioner's Court, and it's very interesting to see how we conduct business, how contracts and how things get done when departments like myself have to go before the Commissioner Court and argue one way or another for things that we need or things that we would like to improve upon or take away. And it's a great, it really is a great court, and it's such an honor to work with them. And we've kept records for them since 1876. Now, before I talk about the last 2 divisions, which is vital records and preservation, I just want to tell you a little bit about our office and what I've done since I've been there these last 2 years. I'm starting my 3rd year in my first term. In my first fiscal budget, we cut our budget in the operational side by 3.5%. Really, we run a good government, and I say we do, but I knew there's always room to cut in government, and if you go and you ask and you look, there's things to save. So I'm very proud that our team was able to do that. And in my second budget cycle, we were able to cut it again, 3.5% in the operational. And some people might say, Mayor Louise, that's really not a lot of money, and it may not be. But folks, I didn't stay still on the budget, and I didn't go ask you for more money. I'm cutting where I can. We run a very slim shop, and I'm very proud of that. One of the things, and the most important thing in a budget, you know, is salaries. That's what's going to eat up your budget line. And since I've been there, we've reduced about 7 positions in the county clerk's office, people that have retired. I don't go cutting people out of their jobs, but when you retire in my office, we're going to take a very hard look because we spend millions of dollars on technology to put records online and to make things efficient. So at some point, folks, people and technology, those paths cross. So we have been able in the last 2 budget cycles cut 7 positions, and that's about $500,000 of taxpayer money with salaries and pensions and health care that I was able to cut and give back to my taxpayers. I've already talked about us bringing things in, and we hand it right back. We've saved thousands on postage in that. I set up a feedback on my website. I want to hear from people. When you come to our office, there is a website where you can email me and tell me, Mary Louise, here's where I found we need to do things better. Here's where you can improve, or here's a person that really took care of me. And we get lots of feedback. If you ask, people will visit it and people will do that. So I encourage you, if you ever do business with us, go to the website and give me a shout and let me know what we can do better or how we supported and helped you. We took on a huge project to push over 1 million land records out on public data online, and we did it under budget this last budget cycle. I'm very proud of that. We initiated a project to convert 5 million film and fish to digital image for better public access. So we're taking some of that taxpayer money and putting it in digital images and doing the right thing and pushing it out for people that actually do business every day, lawyers, real estate people, yourself, looking for those documents. My goal is to make sure we push that out and make it convenient where you don't have to drive downtown necessarily and come see us. One of the most important things I found out when I got there is that one of the businesses that really cannot come down is our land records. We have to do real estate transaction in Tarrant County. It will cripple us if we didn't. So within the first year, we identified a hot site somewhere if something happened to the old courthouse, and we're down in the basement. We have another site at the new sub-courthouse in Northwest where we can immediately turn on our business and start doing real property and deed over there. That's one critical part of my business that we cannot afford to be down. So I'm proud that we were able to set up a hot site in the first year and identify that if anything happens, like in Dallas County where they flooded the bottom, it literally stopped them. And if you read about it, it was disastrous for my colleague, John Warren. And as soon as I heard that in my first couple of months, I said, we need a hot site. We need to be able to say, people, real estate people, go there. So we were able to do that. And I'm not sure if y'all are aware, did y'all get your tax evaluation and receive a property fraud alert from my office? Did you see that? Okay, well, we partnered with the Tarrant County Appraisal District. Suzanne Henderson, my predecessor, started Property Fraud Alert. And you're allowed to go online, and you're allowed to put your information in. And if somebody files something in our office with your name on it, we will send you an email. And we will let you know something's been filed. Now, you know for sure there's lots of Mary Garcias or Mary Louise Garcias. So I have filed my name with Property Fraud Alert, and they just let me know a Mary Garcia has filed something. Now, it's up to me, it's my responsibility to go look and see, and it's not my house, it's not any property that my husband and I own, it's just another Mary Garcia. But folks, Suzanne saw this and had a lot of foresight bringing this to us, and I have stepped up this program because it is a free service, but you do pay for it. It is something that taxpayers pay for. So I went to the appraisal district and said, can we put that in those appraisal property values? So you will be receiving, and we sent out thousands and thousands, and really no extra cost. It didn't change the price of the postage. So I encourage you at Property Fraud Alert, if you go onto the website at Tarrant County, you'll see it right there, and I encourage you, please sign up. You do pay for it as a taxpayer, and it's just another tool that we can offer you to do your part to help yourself be safe from property fraud. Well, I mean, that's really the last thing I want to talk about, kind of a feather in our cap, is we just picked up a state award from the Texas Association of Counties. We put together an internal website for my clerks, for my team members. We have 7 departments, and each department has lots of information floating around on computers and on databases and on phone books, and we decided we would put something together that captured all of this information in an internal website for each department. So we submitted it this year to the Texas Association of Counties, and we picked up a state award. They only handed out 6 this year, so my office picked up one. So that's a big accolade for my team, and I'm so proud of my IT staff and my chief deputy who helped make that happen. So that's something we can all be proud of in Tarrant County. They don't hand those awards out at the state level very often, but it was something we were able to do. Now, I want to move on to our vital records and our preservation. Preservation is something that we were responsible for, and the state deemed that 1941 and prior was historical records. And Suzanne Henderson did a fabulous job of taking this project on. There was money allocated from fees that we collected that she gathered up, and she started her preservation project. And we have thousands of books we've preserved, and they're absolutely gorgeous. And if you ever want a tour, I think I'm going to do an open house in the near future. Come see where your tax dollar went to preserve these books. It's out on I-35 on Meacham, and we have this beautiful warehouse and all the historical documents. Suzanne took that project on, and I'm currently finishing up. So I hear from other clerks, keep in mind there's 254 counties in Texas, and we are so fortunate in Tarrant County that we were able to receive monies from the Barnett Shell, the benefit of that, to be able to do some of the preservation we've done. I've seen pictures at different associations where historical records, you know, being in this business, they're in trailers, they're in dilapidated buildings, and it's a shame that there's no money to preserve that. But trust, in Tarrant County, we have preserved all the records, and I'm almost done with that project, and I'm going to be looking to reduce those fees that we tag on to do business, because I think we've reached the end of that and kind of sunset that. So be very proud of all your records, every record we have. I take that money, I share it with the other departments. We're about to do another project, and I've offered the sheriff's office, I've offered the tax office, what is historical? I've gone to the Tarrant County Historical Society and said, what is absolutely historical that we have to preserve? And we are going to put that in this fund, and I'm going to take care of that because it's the right thing to do for our taxpayers. So that division I'm very proud of it, and I'm so thankful Suzanne had that leadership, and I'm very proud to finish up that project. So now we're into our vital records, where everybody's interested in records probably in this organization. We are very, very busy in vital records. Last year we fielded 150,000 phone calls just in vital records, my one department out of 7. That's where you're going to find your marriage licenses, your birth certificates, your death certificates, the DBAs, your assumed names, your military discharge. Military comes in and files where they land with us. It's a super busy office, and we have sub-courthouses throughout Tarrant County, and we have our vital records office in each one of those sub-courthouses. We have them in Northeast, Northwest, Southwest, Arlington, Mansfield, and Southlake. And I'm very proud to say that we are opening up another records in our Charles Griffin building on Miller Avenue, and we were able to open this up, and we're going to open it up in late June without any new positions, without adding any other salaries. We just were able to reshift people, hold a couple of positions after people retired, and just sat on them, open this building up. So we're really going to serve, I believe, a neighborhood that's going to be benefiting by us opening that up. In our office in Tarrant County, we average about 8,000 to 10,000 death certificates a year, and that's including fetal death. We average 19,000 to 20,000 birth certificate filings each year. Now, the interesting caveat, in 2009, the city of Fort Worth approached Suzanne Henderson and said, This is costing us a lot of money to run our vital records. Can you look at it? And the county talked to the City of Fort Worth, and we took over the City of Fort Worth records in 2009. And with that came 1.2 million records of birth and death filings that immediately came into Suzanne's office. Fort Worth had 11 employees running that particular division. Now keep in mind, we have 36 other cities that we deal with, and we were able to just bring that in, assess, reorganize, and do it with 7 positions. So we were able to cut the staffing back in 2009 to 7 rather than bringing the 11 over. We have fine-tuned it. You know, the clerks, the recorders in the state of Texas, we have fine-tuned this particular area, and that's why other cities come to us and let us take over their vital records division, because we have it down to a science, really, more than anything. Within Tarrant County cities, I talked to my senior manager that runs this department. With the exception of Fort Worth, there's approximately 80,000 death certificates on file and approximately 200,000 birth certificate filings. I asked Georgia, just share some information that would be something that y'all would be interested in. And she said, you know, Mary Louise, while we do have birth and death records from the 1800s, she says you have to remember that it wasn't a state law to keep those records until 1903. So I'm sure y'all are probably aware of that. She said, so we do have some older records, but if somebody died and the JP was there back in the late 1800s, they didn't keep the record. They didn't feel they had to. So it's not as consistent since it was in 1903. And I asked her, I said, what's the process? And she said, Mary Louise, people come down into our office and they want to request birth and death, and they fill out an official request, and we go and we look at the record and we pull the record and we charge them $23 for the record. And I said, well, I mean, do we have to do like an official? And she said, absolutely. She said the state of Texas says anything that comes out needs to be on official letterhead. Hence, that $23 when you get a birth certificate or $23 when you get a death certificate. Now, your marriage licenses, they're online. You can print them out all day long. But that's the rules, and that's where we're at. So that's why when you come down, the state of Texas says it must be on official letterhead, and we're going to charge you for that. You know, we talked about the different records and things, and one of the interesting side notes I did find out is that we work with public health and the fetal death information, and we send them information every month. And we partner with them in the fact that they need to decide what's going on to reduce fetal death. So our information benefits our community in a way where the medical partners at JPS and public health are able to help us determine how do we attack that. So we play an important role in the world of medical as well. Tarrant County Clerk's, the clerk office, we have marriage, license, birth records, and death records that date back to 1876. We are the local registrar for 36 of these cities. Here's some of the cities that do their own, so if you're looking up information at these cities, you would obviously have to go to them or the state of Texas. Arlington, Bedford, Benbrook, Grapevine, Keller, Mansfield, and North Richland Hills. We currently are not their local registrar, so it's you know, people come in sometimes and say, hey, I need to get my birth certificate. I'm from Grapevine. You got to go to Grapevine. So we have offered our services, but some cities, you know, they want to do it on their own, and we're certainly available if they choose not to. Well, I think everybody knows about House Bill 3252. 3252, is everybody familiar with that?
The one right now.
The one right now?
Yeah.
Your current law, our state law says birth records are confidential for 75 years. Death records are confidential for 25 years. This is the 83rd session. Mr. John Zerwas, who is in the district just southwest of Harris County, introduced a bill, House Bill 3252. He introduced it on March 8th, and it would have increased the confidentiality period of birth records to 125 years and death records to 50 years. And as of April 3rd, the bill left the pending and was pending in committee, and it just died in committee.
I wrote a letter.
So I talked to my senior manager. I said, Georgia, you know, where are we? And she said, I was tracking it, Mary Louise. I was definitely tracking this. I said, so give me the pros and cons. She said, you know, Mr. Zerwas went forward and said it protects you from identity theft. People were worried about identity theft, and that's why they want to make those records confidential so much longer, and they thought that would help. But I got online and I was reading the State of Texas Genealogical Society, their argument against it in the committee, and then they said there is no proof and it's not going to help and you're just going to, you know, mess up all of us trying to do our research. And they had a pretty good argument. And then I called my state association, the Texas Association of District and County Clerks, and our legislative person, and I said, you know, Cynthia, you know, where are we on this? I mean, what are we doing? And she said, we're staying neutral. We're not, the association's not going to fight it, but we're not going to support it. We're going to let the genealogical and Mr. Zarwas battle it out, and apparently y'all won. So we did stay neutral in our state association. And, you know, it's about open records. And it's interesting because different clerks have different perspectives. I believe they're your records. That's just where I fall out. They're your records. I'm not in government to make money, and it gets a little touchy when you talk about bulk sales in my associations at the national level. I serve on a national board and at the state level, and some people believe we shouldn't do bulk sales. It doesn't, you know, we should be making money, but I don't believe that. I'm just a keeper. They're your records. I'm not here to make money off of that. I mean, you paid to, you know, to do business with me, and I put them online and I'm making them available. So I want to tell you a little bit about the bulk sales, the Ancestry.com. Okay, everybody's familiar with them. So I told Georgia, I said, what's our process with bulk sales and these type of records? And she said, well, she said, Mary Louise, they give us an open record request. It goes to our assistant DA, Mrs. Fort, and she looks it up and they say, we would like these records in bulk sale. So our assistant district attorney goes through and she says, okay, well, we're going to identify what records do you have in the clerk's office, and then she's going to ask us, how much is it going to cost an hour to pull this information? So she puts that together, actually the work we have to do, how much it costs to export the records, the time it takes to pull the information, whether they're digital, whether they're records or images or indexes. We calculate labor charges, we calculate program charges, we calculate external drive charges. We just calculate what it costs. That's it. So Ancestry.com in 2011 came forward and said, this is what we would like. We want birth record indexes from 1900 to 1935. We would like marriage record indexes from 1880 to the present. Can you go find marriage record images from 1970 to 2010? And go look up death record indexes from 1900 to 1985. Well, guess how much that cost them? $533. Welcome to bulk sales. Again, they're your records. We just charge what we do to process. They're your records. They're your records. We're not here to make money. We just take what does it cost my clerks to go pull that information, the external drive, and things like that. And people, I promise you, fall out on both sides of the aisle on that. I can argue why and I can argue why not, but just know for myself in my office, they're your records, and that's what they're there for. And if there's companies out there that want to buy bulk records, we sell them. That's it. So your Ancestry.com, they do provide a service. And they couldn't provide that service if I was charging them $1 million for information. They just need the information. It is public record. It is public record. So they have a company that's able to grab that public record and put it in a manner that people like us can go find when I want to find my history. So I thought that was interesting. I said, find out how much bulk sales are. I thought y'all would like that.
Is that forever, or is that per year, or what?
What's that, sir?
That was just the
Those sales to Ancestry, is that just a one-time thing? Or?
Yeah, that's a one-time. That was our processing for those. What I just went over, that's what we charged to hand that external hard drive over to say, here's our information, and that's what we're going to charge you. It's by statute, you know, it's law. I mean, that's what we have to do. And clerks fall out on different sides. I mean, and I understand that. I understand that. But me, I fall out on the side, it's your records, and, you know, come get them.
If you have a courthouse clerk who refuses to do that, is there any way around them other than going to the judge?
That's a good question. I mean, they're my colleagues. I don't know that. I mean, I guess you would have to go to you're going to go to the district attorney of that. I mean, I would start at the district attorney's office. That is an open record request. And, you know, we have to, I only have so many days to respond legally to open record requests. When I take that oath of office, that's one of the things I say I'm going to do. So I would just go to their district attorney and just say, this is an official open records request, and start the process. The time starts ticking. We live by it every day in my office.
Thank you.
So, you know, as you can see at Tarrant County, I believe we certainly try and do our part with historical records, making them available, putting them online, at pricing and information that's available to everybody. Ultimately, I am the keeper of the records in Tarrant County, and it's a true honor to serve. I've thoroughly enjoyed my job these last 2 years, and this is my 3rd year in my 1st term. And I hope this information has been helpful to each of you. And I will be up front and let you know I don't have all the answers if you have questions following, but I have a great staff that tomorrow morning we can get those answers. So I will try and field some questions, but as you can tell, I have a huge organization. I've been there 30 months, and every day I'm learning something new. So I appreciate your time, and again, it's an honor to serve, and I will try and answer questions, and thank you so much. Yes, ma'am.
I have one more, please. Where are your Marks and Brands books? In your office?
Our Marks and Brands books, we have them probably at 35 on our historical site where we keep all our books, where we have them. But we do have them digitally imaged and things like that. Are you looking for the actual book?
Yes, ma'am.
We probably have them off-site.
All of the information that is included in the original books. Names, dates, places, brands, everything.
I'm pretty sure all those have been digitally imaged and we have access to them. Now, are they online? I would think so, but I don't actually know the answer to that question, but I will certainly find out in a few minutes. I told my managers, stand down, everybody have your phone on. So they know when I come speak to big groups, everybody be ready for a phone call.
Can we go to this other place?
Absolutely. We can take a trip out there. We'll do a field trip, and I'll show you the books. Off of 35, off of Meacham Boulevard. It's kind of a top secret. I don't want anybody to really know because it's got all our historical things out there. But if y'all want, we can certainly take a field trip. And Debbie?
You mentioned an open house. Would that be like open to the public, or are you talking about just for us?
Just y'all.
Oh, that'd be great.
You know, you really, I just don't, I mean, I don't really see any benefit of telling everybody where all our historical books are. But I would certainly be inclined to take us, you know, to take y'all out there and it's beautiful. I mean, Suzanne, she did a great job. It's a wonderful thing to see. You would appreciate it, and I would certainly make that happen.
Well, you know, most of us are used to going in little courthouses in little counties, and they open a door and you go in the back room and you start pulling the books. So, you know, that's how we all got our start, just pulling those books down and looking through them. And I know Tarrant County, you can't do that, but
yeah, we want to preserve them and we want to keep them for the generations past us. So we do digital image them and we take them away from the public. And I'm going to support that. I mean,
I understand.
Yeah.
I mean, and the volume is just huge for big counties like Tarrant County and Dallas and Houston. But how do we access things online?
It's just tarrantcounty.com. You can go to our different departments, and it's going to tell you, you know, our records here. If you go to tarrantcounty.com, you go to the county clerk, you're going to see the different divisions, and just click on that, and you can start looking, or I'll leave my business card and send me an email, and I will push you off to managers, and they will get you going. We're here to serve you. It's all about customer service, so I promise you we're here to help. Yes, ma'am.
The early records that you have, 1817s, are they out yonder?
Yes.
Okay. If it's more the Grapevine area, would it be in the Grapevine or would it be out yonder?
I think it depends what records you're talking about. I mean, we just have to decide what is it you're looking for, and my staff will certainly be able to tell you it's here, we have it digitally imaged, or you know what, you need to go out to Grapevine. So we will start this dialogue, and you can work with our staff. I mean, that's why I'm here. I mean, how do we connect with y'all? Again, your records, and we will answer any questions we can. So I will hand out business cards, and we'll start that dialogue. Yes, sir.
What's your relationship to the archives, Tarrant County Archives in the Plaza Building?
We have a great relationship with them.
Are they are you them, or?
No, we're separate. We have, there's records that we're responsible for by law, the county clerk's office, and then they have records that they're responsible for. But like I said, we're doing a historical project, and I reached out to him and said, if you have, and money's tight for, the archives. I mean, the state of Texas just cut everything. So I've reached out to him and said, if you have very valuable documents, I can certainly, look at doing some of that work, and I'll probably have them turn them over to me. No, I'm just kidding. They wouldn't do that. But no, we have a good relationship. It's about history. It's about preserving history. It's not anything else. So I have a very good relation with Dawn. Yes, sir.
The problem with not having access to the actual record like she's talking about, actual book, I mean, to look at is we've all run into this problem. If you go downstairs, you run right into it. You pull a book off the shelf where somebody abstracted what the document said and they misread it, or they didn't put all the names in there and all that kind of stuff. Or if you can actually sit down with the book and look at it, you got it. And I mean, you can go through there yourself, and pick it out. These documents that you're talking about, are they scanned so that you can actually look at them, or you have to know what you're looking for before you get there?
All the documents we have are digitally scanned and imaged. So if you know exactly what you're looking for, it should be there. And one of the challenges I ran into when I first took office, and it's speaking to this, is the surveyors. They love those big plats. And before I got there, they imaged, they scanned, and they took those plats away. And I was on the trail, and the first thing they said is, Mayor Louise, we want those books back. And I went to the staff and I was like, those guys want the book back. And they're like, no way. Their people were taking them, and they were, putting their hands on, and they said, well, they're ruining the books and we have to preserve them. So we have them available how you want them. And if they can't see what's on that plat, on that digital image, and my staff cannot see what's on that plat to their satisfaction, we do go get that plat. I'm not going to tell any customer, too bad it's sitting somewhere in a warehouse, I'm not going to get it. We will make a drive. We will go get that document. If you can't see it and I can't see it, it's coming downtown, and we are going to put our hands on a physical book. So I've committed to that with our surveyors, and they're happy. And I understand, people, I understand that. I appreciate and respect what you're saying, and know that from me, if it's a document that you want to see and they can't make heads or tails of it, just let me know. We're going to go get it. We might as well. That's what they're there for. Anything else?
When you said Grapevine and some of those other cities
Yes.
had their own records, are you talking about just the modern time period, or are you talking way back?
All their records. They're their own vital records department, so they're going to have all records, Debbie. That we're not their local registrar, so that's who you're going to. They're going to have all their records. I have none of their records with them. Wherever, I can't speak to that. I just know in Arlington, you go to Arlington's Vital Records Department. Bedford, you're going to go to their Vital Records. I don't, exactly, I don't know. I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
But those should be filed at the state Vital Records Department.
Absolutely. You're going to find it at state of Texas, or you're going to find it at those other places. Yes, ma'am.
As a county clerk office, I found when you were able to go and look through the books yourself,
Yes, ma'am.
as a family member, and you find that a name is not correctly spelled or a birth date is not correct, do you tell that county clerk, or what do y'all do with that kind of information?
There is an amendment that you fill out, like if you want to fix a name or a date, and you fill that out and it's certified, and somebody has to say, yes, I was the Ann, and I know his name was not with an E, it was with an I, and we do amend those records. But there is a process that you would go through at our office, and just, if you find a record, just say, I know his name was not Timothy I.E., it was Timothy Y, and if you prove that, you just fill out and certify, and we process it with the state. That is possible.
Okay.
I have a little one that wanted to change her name one day. No, I'm just kidding.
One thing to your credit that I like is that is the actual record that, like births and deaths, that you provide with the border around is the actual scan of what's on file at the state. Mm-hmm. In the past, I've had dealings with other counties where the clerk looked at it it was handwritten. They typed it up on a form, and then they put it in there, and that's what you got. Well, they mistyped, they put the wrong information and everything else. One, I had to go back 3 times. And so what you've done is much, much better.
We capture the image as is. We try not to type because typing is mistakes. And
You would even also make them darker if they're too light to really physically see. You can enhance it a hair or 2.
we do what we can.
Or if they're black.
We do the reverse. We did all that. We've already reversed all those images. Absolutely. It was black and white. How horrible was that for technology? Trying to catch up with that. So, absolutely. Can you imagine the ink they use for that? But it's, you know, again, just, I'll hand you the information. Just send me an email. I mean, I'm in my office. I'm at the courthouse. If you're down, come see me. You know, we run our business. I run a tight shop. I mean, I'm there for my team members. I have 141. I have a $10 million budget. It's a big shop, but I love serving. But I appreciate y'all's time, and thank you for inviting me out. And I'm sorry I missed it a few times before. Thank you.